Good morning.
Good afternoon.
When do you normally do them?
Whenever.
Well,
They
I don't know.
air in the morning.
They air in the mornings, but like we generally do record them in the mornings.
Late morning, though.
Yeah, it's normally one of our
Sometimes into the afternoon.
first situations.
But I always say good morning because you never know. I mean, we could be speaking to somebody that's on a different part of the globe, and it could be morning for them.
5 o'clock somewhere.
It is 5 o'clock
Very true.
somewhere. And on that specific note, I've got a record to set straight. I dug through the analytics.
Oh, you found out.
0 Thailand listeners.
What is our furthest eastern brother and or sister?
Listen, I
listening
was
to this
zeroed
podcast?
in on Thailand because if I found a glimmer of a Thailand listener, that was all I needed to see. So
I'd send
I
them
was
a care package. Send them a
my
shirt.
point is like I was literally skimming Thailand. No Thailand.
Do we have any like
I couldn't tell you the
European,
others.
Far East?
So you can do that? You can see.
Oh yeah, YouTube
all
will
is
show
watching?
You. Yeah,
Yeah.
YouTube will show you everything.
Huh.
It gives you their home address. I'm just kidding.
It doesn't.
Wow.
It does give you their homeland.
It does tell you where they're watching
So how
from.
far out has it gone?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Well, listen, that's what I'm saying. I was so clued in on
you
Thailand,
didn't
I
look
couldn't
at
tell
all.
you the others.
Man.
You kind of you're skimming a list
Man.
and you're looking for one
But
specific.
there is a
word.
list.
Oh
There
yeah,
is a
there's a
list.
list.
Which means that, it's going somewhere.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm going to see if mobile will let me figure it out. Audience. Here we go. Geography. In the last 28 days, second runner-up for most listened to country. Take a wild guess.
America.
No,
Canada.
American number one.
Canada.
No, our
I thought
Canadian brothers aren't
maybe you
listening
had a
as
lot
much.
of Hispanic friends.
Try Germany.
What?
We have some German
Well, that
listeners.
makes sense. We have a connection there with.
We got some
Germans.
German connection. We got
Nice.
some
Yeah.
German listeners. Nice.
How about that?
Well, now we know.
I definitely would have thought Canada.
No. It's Germany in the past 28 days.
Interesting.
So all my German brothers, I knew.
You said
liked-
Thailand though.
I know, but
I would have went with Mexico just for obvious reasons.
I think they hate us a little bit.
Oh,
I don't know. Probably can't understand us.
That too.
I'll be shocked if anybody else in the world can understand us.
Apparently Germany can.
I wonder if it's the same sensation, like you know how women will say, "Oh, I love such and such's accent." Mm-hmm. I wonder if it's the same situation for rednecks. Is
nobody
is the
says that.
redneck accent ever like, "Oh my gosh, keep talking"?
we went somewhere.
I've actually never got that.
I can't remember.
No, I
where we
haven't
went.
either. I'm talking about like other places in the world, though.
Some lady was taking our order or something.
Yeah.
And she's, oh my gosh, where are y'all from? And we told her, so I knew it had to be somewhere down south. Is it that bad?
So you were like ordering food somewhere.
Yeah, and they were like, golly, you can't be from around here.
Oh no,
We're from the hills.
absolutely.
And then those kids that come over as foreign exchange students,
Oh man,
one of the main reasons they list as wanting to come to America is
to learn English.
improve their English.
Oh, that's
I'm
a bad idea.
Well, you came to the wrong,
Yeah, this is the
Yes,
the
you
wrong
did.
part of America to
wrong little
improve
speckle
your
of the
English.
globe here.
Yeah.
Not only are you not going to improve it, but you're also not hearing English
Yeah.
either. Like
Also-
so, just to communicate.
Also, your caseworker must not own a globe because this is not the place to come to learn English.
No.
And Charlotte was the best because she could make
Oh
fun.
yeah, Charlotte was cool.
She'd make fun of
Where was
our
Charlotte from?
bad. She was from Germany.
Yeah, Charlotte was
okay.
German.
And she got really good at
Charlotte
saying
did get
y'all and over.
She had some slang.
Yeah.
Her and Finn would make fun of us. Tom would make fun of us.
Yep.
Man.
Listen,
Using our own language against us.
I will.
Which also seems like a very German thing to do.
Well, those students at our school in the English classes would always finish at the top, which
Oh, yeah.
I always took that as a slap in the face.
That's offensive.
But
they didn't
then,
even grow up speaking this language, and they're whipping our kids' tails.
so, I mean, they'd start bragging about it, and I'd say, back to back World War.
That's very
champions.
true.
So
Very true. Two-time.
yep.
Two
times.
times. That's true.
Well, good morning.
Good afternoon, wherever you find yourself in life. Welcome back to Faith and Frames. So the last two were a little more frame heavy. I think this one's going to be a bit more faith heavy. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. We've got a special guest. He's already been talking. If you've been watching,
Uh-oh.
You
We've been rolling?
We've been found out.
We've been rolling, and
Uh-oh.
We've been found out.
But you guys can edit.
Yeah, we can edit.
Okay,
but we're not going
Can
to.
and will are two different things.
Can, will, and remembering.
I was going to say big thing
All
with your editor.
all three things.
We
there.
ain't said nothing bad yet.
No, we ain't said nothing.
no.
Listen, I'll be honest with you. Several months ago, we took a poll. We polled our audience, and we said, "Hey, give us some ideas as to who you guys would really like to see as podcast guests."
Not just the most requested.
Not just
was.
saying that because we go to church together. Not just saying that because you're sitting right here 3 feet from me and you can beat me up. Our number one requested.
James Buchanan.
You got to be kidding.
Nope.
James Buchanan.
Nope.
Are people that desperate?
I'll tell you,
bored.
you've got a super fan, and I'm not even going to let him remain anonymous here, but Drew Hall.
Yeah,
Drew.
Drew Hall.
Drew Hall on multiple occasions has said, "When are you getting James on the
Yeah,
podcast?"
when you get James, we've had your and truth be told, I mean, and it's because we're all just so darn busy nowadays. But like we have been in works on this episode for what, like well over.
We've
a year?
been trying to get together.
Yeah. Oh well, almost a year because
It's
the
that
podcast. hasn't been for
darn
over a
Greene
year.
County school schedule.
Very true.
That and I mean the list of accolades
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
descriptions.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
trying
try
to
to
get a
stay
hold of
busy.
James. I mean, he's got 3 personal assistants. We have to.
No,
go
I
to
need
his
3 personal
communications department. Like
Need
you
3
got
personal
getting a
assistants.
hold of James.
Would
is difficult.
John back that up?
I'm actually his personal assistant, which adds to my list of
Oh,
things
man.
I have to do.
That's true.
Oh,
It's a good
man.
point. Good point. So James is
A loser.
Garrett had this massive list before we started rolling.
I do have a list, and I'm going to mention that list as soon as we mention our sponsor of today's episode.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one.
Sponsor of today's episode is none other than Animals West of Greenville, Tennessee. At Animals West, your pets are our passion. Our dedicated team offers personalized care, advanced treatments, and a warm, loving environment. Because at Animals West, every tale tells a story. Tony, Amanda, and the crew down on the Newport Highway.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of Faith in Frames. Thank you for sponsoring these animals here at Motion Creative Media.
Yeah.
What was that line? Your tales. What was
Every
that?
tale tells a story.
Every tale tells.
I've been trying to get
Who
him.
came up with that? That was not Tony.
ChatGPT. That was ChatGPT.
I've been trying to get him to switch it to every tale tells a tale.
That's too many t's.
Just,
Yeah.
just
It's a lot of iteration
every
there.
tale tells a tale. I mean,
It's a lot of t's.
it is, but
I
yeah,
thought,
they-
well, maybe Amanda could have come up with something
No,
like that, but I'm guessing you guys never even asked her.
No, we didn't,
Yeah.
but we absolutely resorted to the powers that be at ChatGPT.
you talk about another person who's busy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or he just pretends to be busy.
well, I was talking about Amanda.
Oh, yeah, she's busy.
Amanda's
Yeah, she's
actually busy.
legitimately
Yeah.
busy. Yeah.
Yeah, she's
Tony
busy.
Tony drives around, listens to us idiots on his radio, and
She can
drinks cokes.
She performs operations on animals while holding 2 children
Yeah. So,
And it's Lane and Lily.
who are holding a child themselves.
yes.
It's a never ending.
Listen,
Tony
chain.
did save my dog.
Well, so I got to ask you about that. James, I told Tony, I said, I think we're going to have James on the podcast finally. We've got our schedules aligned and moon's lining up and all these situations. He said, well, be sure to ask him about his dog and the bear
Okay.
and then his dog and the shock collar disease.
Oh,
Okay. These are
shot
2
collar or shock collar?
Shock.
Oh, okay.
Shock.
Oh,
All right. I'll start with the shock collar.
You got one of them underground fences, don't you?
Yeah.
oh, that's fancy.
Or invisible.
Yeah, whatever they are.
Whatever.
Force field.
My brother-in-law, Troy Kaiser. Should I?
Yeah,
can
go
I do
ahead.
that?
Yeah,
Can I-
absolutely.
Owner of East Tennessee Collision.
yeah, shout him out. Go
I mean,
Troy.
is that okay?
Yeah,
Hey, he's
hey,
fixed a couple of my vehicles.
All right.
Well, little claps
hey,
for that.
Yeah, go to East Tennessee Collision for all your auto body needs.
He's
can agree
also
with
the
that.
source of this,
Yeah.
the origin of this tale.
So,
this literal tale.
My daughter, Mercy, was turning 9. Well, she turned 17 on Friday. So this has been 8 years ago. Troy's determined to get her a dog.
Oh, yeah.
And we're telling him we're never home.
No.
This
we don't
dog
need
will
that.
die of starvation or neglect or something. We don't need a dog. Well, he wanted to find a dog that matched Mercy's personality.
Oh man,
Here comes a red healer.
Oh, my gosh. Hey,
And man, them things, when they're babies, it's like having a
they're
human
hyper.
baby.
Oh, yeah.
They're
You got to
hyper.
go outside all the time, or I mean, they're making messes everywhere.
well they're bred to
Herd.
and
Yeah.
herd and everything.
Oh yeah,
else.
they eat your feet.
Yeah.
So anyway, he gets us this dog against our plans.
and better judgment.
Yeah, but I mean, you talk about a good fella
Oh, yeah.
who's took such good care of me, my wife, my children. So
we'll give him a pass on this.
Oh yeah, I mean,
We'll
he gets
throw him a
free.
bone,
He
no
gets
pun
like
intended.
he's still got 100 passes with me. So he gets us this dog. Well, she's tearing up everything, and we got to do something. So he comes up with the collar plan. 'Cause we didn't want to put in a physical fence, so we get this invisible fence. Well, it ain't been long ago. It's been a few months. I thought, man, something's wrong with this dog. She won't get off the back steps. I mean, she's right up next to the house. She wouldn't even come.
Wouldn't go outside or nothing.
She's using the bathroom in the gravel.
Afraid for her life, probably.
Won't even go in the grass to use the bathroom. So now I'm cleaning that up. Thought, what's wrong with this dog? Is she dying?
It's not dogging.
So I'm figuring up dog years. What is it, like 7?
Yeah, they say it's like 7 for every
It's a 1 to
human
7.
year.
So I thought, well, I mean, she's getting close to 63 now, supposedly.
Getting up there.
So maybe she's dying.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was odd that she wasn't moving. So I did a little test. The sad thing is this went on for 2 days before I
Figured it out.
before I tried to
ASPCA, if
work
you're
with
listening,
her.
please turn your volume down. Now.
Yeah, I mean, I love animals. So I take a few steps off the steps.
Yeah.
And I'm calling for her. And I've even got a little treat there. Here she comes. And I back up a couple steps.
We got to test this out.
Come a little further.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get her back in the grass. Just I thought maybe it'd do her some good to get some dirt in her claws. So anyway, she got to a certain point, and I heard that beep, 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 beep. So I knew right then, I said, somebody has changed the boundaries on our shock collar.
And
Turns
she
out
knew
it was Tony's boy, Jace, who, if you turn him loose, will touch every button on
Jace or
every
Dom?
remote. Jace.
Yeah, Jace.
They had come over to the house, and Jace was just roaming around unsupervised
like a
because,
little mad
you know how
scientist.
that is. But anyway, he had gone over there and rolled that thing all the way into where every time the dog would come off the porch, it's shocking the
Tiny little circle.
yeah.
Oh, man.
Wow.
So and it took forever to convince the dog that the boundaries had been changed back. She was like,
Oh, she was
"You're-
afraid for
you're-
her life.
Yeah, you're trying
Scarred.
to trick me into getting shocked again.
She heard "In the Arms of an Angel" playing in the back of her brain.
Yeah.
Because she had watched all them commercials. She's like, I do not want to be on that commercial.
Yeah. So that's story one. So
Poor dog.
and Tony
collar
came
disease.
over. He thought she was dying too, so he came over and he said, "I think her neck's hurting," which it was because she had been continuously getting shocked in the collar. So, but anyway, he took the collar off of her, took her to the clinic, run tests on her. I mean, he's doing blood work, trying to figure out if she has cancer or something, But anyway, he brings her back. So I don't know what's wrong other than she's been injured or something because she's real tender in her neck.
Yeah. Well.
Which, hey, that just tells you right there, man does a good job with what he does. 'Cause
Very
he,
true. Very true.
Very clear diagnosis.
And that
That's
shock
true.
collar also does a good job.
Yeah, but he didn't. Yeah, shock collar. If I had the brand name on that, I would.
Let's shout them out, see if they'd sponsor the channel here.
that sucker works.
The other story
I think I need that for my kids.
is one of those days I had bus duty or something, so it's dark when I'm leaving in the morning, and I had left, and then Susie and the girls were coming on later. Well, it's daylight when they leave, and they just happen as they're leaving that day to look and see the dog laying in a pool of its own blood, barely breathing.
That's never good.
No. So she called Troy, East Tennessee Collision.
Yeah.
Troy.
Little
And he comes over, and the dog is, I mean, she's been just ripped apart. And, Tony feels like it was a bear.
Yeah.
That had gotten a hold of her. I don't know. There's still some, I've got like a video that he took as he's getting ready to clean her up.
Yeah,
He put her to
Operate.
sleep and had to shave her there a little bit, stitch her up. So I've showed those wounds to some animal experts.
Yeah.
Bobby Tarleton. He says, no way it's a bear.
Yeah.
Tony's convinced it was a bear, but she was about dead.
Yeah.
So what does our resident expert think it was?
Tony said it's a bear.
I know, but what about Bobby?
Bobby says
Wild
probably
coyote.
like coyotes.
I could see coyote.
Welcome to Faith and Fangs.
Yeah. Faith and Fangs. So
Nice.
it looks like something sunk into the back of its neck and did one of those slinging around
Rip
deals.
it,
Yeah,
rip
yeah.
it a little bit.
So I mean, but
Rip its gizzard out.
Animals West.
Nice.
Heidi is running free, better than ever.
There
Yes.
we go. And
Full
that's why they're
recovery.
sponsoring the channel.
Nice.
Now, she was
Customer
addled.
testimony right there.
There was a few weeks where she'd look at you out of the side of her head and just wasn't looking at you right.
Yeah.
Twitch a little bit.
Yeah, but right now I'm proud to say fully recovered.
Well, you mentioned I had forgotten the origin of Heidi being a birthday gift originally, but because of that reminded me one thing that people have asked us to do more of, and Garrett and I just feel completely unqualified, is to talk about our journeys as fathers.
Yeah.
You're a girl dad times 2.
Yeah.
And on the outside looking in, very successful at it because your daughters are great humans.
Can I mention the list of accolades that accompany Girl Dad?
Yeah.
Folks, in case you don't know, we're talking to the man, James Buchanan. He is not only a follower of Jesus, a great dad, a great husband, a great leader here in our church, head deacon, I'm going to call him. He doesn't like that title, but that's what he is to me. Song leader, basketball coach, athletic director, multi-time championship appearance, TSSAA basketball coach.
Get you some of that.
Coach James Buchanan.
Boo.
Thanks for coming on.
I think only 12% of that was accurate.
Well, we're rolling with it.
Oh, wait, I forgot one. Semi-professional wrestler.
I've been in the ring.
Nice.
Exactly.
I've been the tag team partner of a WWE Hall of Famer.
There we go.
And we
Randy Morton?
obviously Ricky Morton.
Or, my bad, Ricky Morton.
Yeah, we won our match.
Well,
Little claps for that.
shocker there. No
Yeah,
pun
James
intended.
Buchanan. Okay, sorry, now you can continue. I had to list the accolades.
Well, I mean,
You know I'm big on accolades.
big on accolades.
I enjoy them.
But I have
Checks
two.
in the mail, guys.
I have 2 girls. My oldest is 4. My youngest will be 2 here soon.
Precious children, by the way.
Well, we're way lower on our journey than you are. So
What you're saying is you're a lot younger than I am.
years. I mean, age is
Maybe a little
age
bit.
is simply a number, as they say.
I'm not even on the totem pole because only 33% of my children happen to be female. So
Well, yeah.
Well, no, all I'm getting at is you're somebody I look up to, and because I see your kids, and I'm like, gosh, if we can get some advice from James and Susie, we might
Well, we
be
should
able
probably
to-
get her on here.
I might actually be a good dad one day.
Thank
might
goodness
actually-
for their mom.
Yeah. Well, what's it been like? Well, they're now teens. I mean,
Yeah, 19 and soon to be 17. So, interesting thing. They say this is not in the Bible, by the way. I hate to break everybody's heart. The Lord works in mysterious ways.
Yeah.
Find that verse.
ooh,
Challenge.
challenge issue to the listeners.
Not in there. I'll save you some time.
Spoiled it.
But I
Got somebody
know,
flipping through the pages right now thinking,
Yeah.
I know
Yeah,
I
that's
know it's
in
there
there.
somewhere.
but you know,
It's got to be in Colossians.
I think it's Proverbs.
Thessalonians
Yeah.
or something, one of those. Well, you know, and I think the concept is there. You can read and see that we don't understand the ways of God.
Well, they're certainly above us.
And somebody came up with that phrase based on Scripture. I
I mean, they're
understand.
mysterious, though.
Yeah, I mean,
We just don't get them.
right. But here in 2001, I began teaching, and I get married in the fall. So 2005 rolls around, and you know, here I am. When I get this job, girls basketball is attached to it,
Yeah.
and I'm terrified.
Right.
I think I
But
I can't do
you
this.
played basketball.
you were
like,
a
why were
hooper.
you scared?
Two different sports here.
I mean, yeah,
That's
you weren't
true.
on a girls' team, but
it's same sport, but I had just never worked with females.
it's
Yeah.
a different pace. We'll
I
put
mean, I'd
it
always
lightly.
played with guys, and
Right.
then I went to Milligan and played 4 years and coached a year there
Yep.
as an assistant.
Yep.
Never been around females,
Right.
except, I mean, I'd see our girls' teams play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, South Green had some great girls' teams. Milligan had great girls' teams. But as far as locking in or ever asking any of those coaches,
Yeah.
what's the challenges of dealing with females as compared to males? I'd never done that. So
Right.
when they said, if you accept this job, you're coaching girls basketball.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to coach basketball,
Right.
but the plan was start out in girls. As soon as a boys' job opens up anywhere,
Right.
take it. Even if it's at that same school.
Yeah,
So a
yeah.
little over 20 years later, you're still waiting for that boys' position to open.
Well, it's actually come open multiple
I was about to
times.
say, I think he's had
I'm kidding.
opportunity.
But here's what kind of changed my tune on that. I coach them for, you know, the 2002, 3, and 4 season, and 5. So I'm 4 years into this, and during that 4th year, we find out we're going to have our first kid, and it's a girl.
Yep.
I start thinking, you reckon that the Lord had something to do with this?
Maybe.
So then I have the second daughter, and now the sad part is one of them's gone all the way through.
Yep.
And I mean, I had her coaching travel ball when she was in 3rd grade. She's already made it through and is now sitting on the bench helping me.
Yep. Right.
And now here we are, the last ride. It's Mercy's senior year. So I think all this was, just like the rest of life.
Probably
if you are submissive and obedient, then God will direct. This is not my favorite Bible verse, but it is my probably most referenced verse when people ask me to share my testimony, or always go to Proverbs 3, 5, and 6.
Okay.
Trust in the Lord with all your heart.
Right.
Lean not into your own understanding, which is great advice because I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I don't understand a lot of things.
Yeah, I'll not get very far.
Yeah. In all thy ways, acknowledge him, and he'll direct your path. So I've been coaching 23 years. I've had 2 daughters that actually played for me.
Yep.
One's coaching with you now.
So
Still playing with you, the other one.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So the Lord's had his hand in all that. But as far as like the dad part, shoot, you learn from so many mistakes.
Yeah.
And thank goodness they've got a good mama. I know that.
Shout out Susie. Little claps for that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But if I had any advice to pass along, when they were little, every night we'd get them in bed.
Yep.
We'd pray. We'd read a Bible story. We'd get through that book. We'd go through it 2 or 3 times, and then we'd have to go get a new one.
Yeah.
You know those Bible picture books?
Yeah,
and
the
all
little
that.
tiny ones.
We went age appropriate. The older they got, the
Here's Jonah.
yeah.
Yeah.
We
Do the 5 necessary stories first.
We'd get a little deeper. We start with the 5 basics and then move on from there. But the greatest privilege in my life, I mean, you read all that stuff off. I actually was able to lead both my children to Christ in their initial salvation experience.
Phenomenal.
We go home after church one night, and Grace comes and gets in bed with me and her mom. She starts crying a little bit.
Yep.
What's wrong? What's wrong? I just don't feel right. I don't feel right. Something's going on. She said, I think I need to be saved. We didn't push that. Not one bit. We didn't push it at all. We said, well, here, I gave her some scripture and some things to think about. So it's not long till she's hollering at me. I'm going in there in her bedroom. She says, Dad, I want to be saved. And I got to lead my oldest daughter in that prayer. So it wasn't maybe a couple years later. Now Mercy's about 5 or however old she was. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I had just read the evening Bible story, and they were laying in bed, supposed to be going to sleep. She jumps out of bed and runs over there and curls up in my lap.
Yeah.
And just real quiet, she said, Dad, I want to be saved today.
Phenomenal.
So I had that honor. I mean, some people see their kids walk an aisle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they got saved at Bible school or church camp or something like that. But mine was right there in their bedroom.
Yeah.
Wow.
When it was just me and their mama and
Very
and
intimate
them.
moment.
Oh, yeah. So that's it. But I think taking them to church is huge.
Worth it.
It's one of them things where they never get up and say, we going to church today.
Yeah. Not a question.
The question is, how late are we going to be?
Yeah, how late are we going to be?
We're going to be late.
You guys skate in on 2 sometimes,
Hey.
which I only see it because I'm also skating in on 2.
So, I mean, we have that struggle, but I always tried to bring them to church, tried to read to them, tried to be a teacher of the word to them.
Right.
And then we took them to, when they were little, before they got into, the older you get, you're going to camps. Or if you play on a ball team, you're traveling a lot or practicing, during the week. But back before that, when they were real little, we would go to like 3 or 4 Bible schools a summer.
Oh, yeah.
Every summer, we're taking them to, if we knew a person that went to this church, we're going to that church.
I remember those
VBS.
days. I remember those days.
If you can pour gospel and Bible into your kids, I'm just crazy enough to believe that God knew what he was saying when he said, if you train them up right, they won't depart from it.
Right.
Now, that don't mean they ain't going to make mistakes.
Right.
Yeah.
Some might even stray pretty far away.
Right.
But I don't think they'll ever get far enough to where they can't remember.
Right.
Yeah.
That moment.
Yeah,
Any of those
their
moments.
roots.
Yeah.
Or where they came from or what they were taught. So if anything good has come from the lives of my children, it's been probably in spite of me, because of their mother, and all by the grace of God.
Yeah. There you go.
There you go, boys.
So make that effort.
Yeah.
How important do you think it is? And again, this is just from, dad to dad to dad. How important do you think it is, especially in today's time, for them to have that relationship with Jesus? Because I know one thing that Jared and I have talked about on the podcast and just out and about with folks is I think young people now are searching.
Yeah.
A lot of them don't know what they're searching for, but with all the havoc that's going on right now in the world, like they are searching for something. How important is it to give them that thing?
Oh, it's of utmost importance, because you look at the path that oh man, it's sad. And I'm teaching there in public school.
Oh yeah, you see.
We're at a smaller one.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they say the bigger the place, the bigger the problems. I mean, I don't know if that's always necessarily true. Some of the craziness I think you've alluded to, it's found its way to Belton.
Yeah.
Or Belton.
Belton.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
So a lot of confusion out there. And you're right. They're just looking. A lot of it, I think, well, these kids really need love.
Yeah.
They need attention. They feel like if they do this, say this,
Somebody will actually pay attention.
somebody's going to pay attention
Good
to
or
them and
bad.
love them. What's neat is when they find out from an early age that person that loves them more than anybody
Yeah.
is God.
Right.
So much so that he sent his own son to die for their sins. So the earlier you can start getting that in a kid's head, the better off they're going to be.
Yeah.
I think that stems a lot from just a societal situation that we are so, as people, distracted
Yeah.
by everything.
By design of the enemy.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. But I mean, you think about it, like once you get home from your lengthy day's work, length varies per occupation and per person, but once you finally get home, first thing most people do is turn the TV on, or they bury their face in their phone. Well,
Doom scrolling.
here's the situation. Here's the issue: is like if you've got kids, they're not getting the attention and the love that kids need that.
Right.
And so, I think that's why you see kids searching. And I also think that maybe kids act out to get like a reaction from someone, because at that point it's like, oh, you're paying attention to me.
Here's the even scarier thing is kids nowadays don't even have to search. They're getting fed
Oh, yeah.
anything and everything.
Sure.
That's what's the most scary thing to me is even if they're not searching, they're getting fed all kinds of just garbage.
It's almost
on the daily basis.
Yeah, it's like these days, if you're getting any gospel, if you're, it's in spite of all these other things that they got to cipher through first. You know, I mean, it's just it's difficult times. But you guys sit here and brag on me. Golly, what beautiful families!
Shoot,
You guys don't sell
We're a
yourselves
circus.
short. Yeah,
I have a beautiful wife.
it's a circus.
you've got it's unbelievable. You guys are doing a heck of a job yourself.
We appreciate
I need
that.
to be the one asking you all the questions.
I don't feel that on the daily, but I certainly appreciate those words.
Hey, you mentioned VBS, and we just wrapped up VBS here. I'm still war slap out here at the Liberty. But one of the things that they had to do in crafts was they had to take the first letter. So they had to take their favorite Bible verse, and if it was 16 words, there were 16 letters. You took the first letter of every word, and they made bracelets. I was like, oh, that's interesting. So let's see, what would be my favorite Bible verse?
So somebody would look at your bracelet and be like, those letters don't even make sense.
what are
What
all
is
those
that?
letters?
And it just
It's
gives you an opportunity to start a
It's
conversation.
a conversation
cool.
starter.
Whose
So-
idea was that?
Now that I don't know.
That's brilliant.
That's a really
That
good
might
idea.
be it might be Karen's. Actually.
Karen was in charge of crafts.
Actually, yeah, Karen and
We're
Alan.
going to give Karen the credit.
It was a beautiful thing, and it got me to thinking. I was
They
like,
also did the marshmallow shooters.
Yeah,
That was
which
a-
is
that was-
equally as
that was a hit.
awesome.
Well, almost equally.
What
was fun.
what is your favorite Bible verse and why?
That's easy. You know, I've tried to run from it because there were many years I thought, well, that's a good one, but surely there's a better one. You know,
Yeah.
when you're younger and stupid. But the older I got, this one has grown on me. Anytime I would try to say, no, this one's my favorite, I'd always come back to this. It's Romans 8:28.
Okay.
For we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to those who are the called, according to his purpose. Well, we don't know his purposes, but we know the outcome is going to be for our good, but that ain't for everybody.
Yeah.
That's if you love God.
There's a condition there.
So, I mean, you could have a death in the family.
Yeah.
My dad died back in May of 23.
Yeah.
And you're telling me all things work together for good? Well, of course they do.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in this life.
Right.
But he's, pain-free.
Pain-free.
Living it up. I've got the hope to see him again.
Right.
So, I mean, you hate it when he's not here.
Yeah.
I mean, some things been going on lately, and I was just talking to my sister on the phone yesterday how we would enjoy right now to hear Dad's perspective on this or that.
Oh, sure.
Oh, it'd be great.
I'd like to have Luke's perspective.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to work out. And you may be in financial ruin. You may be in a health crisis. You may be in the middle of the biggest war you've ever been in with your spouse.
Yep.
Do you love God? Okay, it's going to work out.
Yeah.
You just got to trust him.
Yeah.
But that one's my favorite, Romans 8:28.
I like that. I think the whole book of Romans is a good book.
Oh, man. Romans and Hebrews, John, those.
Book of
and
James.
then you go back to Isaiah in the Old Testament. I mean, they're all good, but there's some that are.
John's my favorite.
Yeah, mine too.
I've learned that old Paul, reading the speech from fishermen,
Yeah.
and someone educated like Paul. Some of Paul's is a little more difficult to read. John reads really easy. It's a great read. That's actually where my favorite Bible verse comes from, and I've tried to think like, God, there's got to be a better one. This is the first verse I learned as a kid. It can't be my favorite. Well, there might be some reason why. This is the first one taught. It's John 3:16.
Yeah.
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, so that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life.
You know the story on that verse, though. It'd be hard for me to preach or teach the Bible. Not impossible, but you can preach the whole Bible from Romans 8:28. John 3:16
It's it.
easily communicates the message of the whole
And
Bible.
that's exactly why it's my favorite. It is the entire gospel in, I don't know how many words there are there, but one verse, the way that it's broken up in the Bible.
I'm going old, and you actually mentioned the book. My favorite, and actually this was my mom's favorite as well, and I guess she ingrained it in my head growing up, but it's Isaiah 40:31. The very last
For they
verse.
that wait.
Upon the Lord shall renew their strength. Mount with wings as eagles. They will run and not be weary. Walk and will not faint.
That's from Remember the Titans too.
It's a good verse. And actually that whole book, is basically God proclaiming his greatness to the frailty of man. If I remember, and I'm going to heavily paraphrase this, but somewhere in that chapter, he mentions that we are grass, basically. We're going to wither away. He says, but who's measured the water in his hands?
Yeah.
Who's measured mountains on a scale?
Right.
Things like that, just proclaiming his greatness again. So that's probably my go-to. Good old 40:31.
Yeah.
Possibly have y'all ever thought about this? And I hear different people talk about it, but the top 2 chapters in the Bible, or maybe the top chapter from the Old and the top chapter from the New, I've always heard Isaiah 53 from the Old Testament,
Yeah.
Romans 8, or John 3, because there's a lot of theology, there's doctrine, there's gospel, there's Jesus all over. But anyway, that's
I think the whole book's a pretty good book.
the whole thing's good.
I tell you,
I need to read more of it.
yeah, absolutely. You absolutely cracked me up. You and I guess my doppelganger River Rat. One of your all skits this week at Bible school, you were talking about he came in and he stumbled because he was reading and he tripped over and he said, I'm reading this book and I really liked the first bit of it. So I went ahead and flipped to the backup to figure out how it ended. And we were talking about Revelation, consummation, and that was our last C of the 7 C's, right? I'll tell you, it's cracked me up. I don't know if those are rehearsed or if
the
those are
ones during
strictly improv,
during the week.
they are the highlight of VBS for me.
Well, they kind of give you something to go by.
Give you a little guide.
And Monday through Friday, we tried to go by the guide, but we'd be off the rails. But Sunday, we completely. Should we get together and write up something for Sunday for the program? I told Josh, I said, no, it's going to be better if we just walk out there and see what happens. So that was totally.
We'll wing it.
My favorite part of Bible school was when, Josh has his fake beard.
Yeah.
He looks like Phil Robertson or somebody. He's got the wild hat. So he's not there one night, in the skit. He's not there. So I'm asking the kids, has anybody seen River Rat? Which, by the way, that wasn't even the name that Bible school gave to this character. I just made that one up.
Oh, that's better. It's got to be better than what was in the text.
Yeah, I don't even know what they had. It was like person 1 and person 2. You got to have a name.
Yeah, you need to call up Lifeway and tell them to reconsider their character
It's answers in Genesis.
So we just made up River Rat because we were on the Great River Jungle.
Yeah, we were.
Jungle Journey or something. We was going down a river. There's a boat on the stage.
Big boat.
So I figured we was on a river. But I asked the kids, has anybody seen River Rat? And they turn around. Yeah, I seen him. They point up there at Jared. Jared's up in the crow's nest running the sound. And they point up there at him. Thought he
found him out.
Yeah.
They found him out.
Hey, and
you got that picture? Y'all had your picture made together.
That's on Josh's phone.
Is it?
On River Rat's phone.
Did he put it on?
Don't forget, he made the manatee.
The manatee. God made it all.
There you go.
Creatures big,
and creatures small.
He made you and me.
There were some bops in this week.
I had a really good time at Bible school. I'm telling you, I was wore slap out, and I'm sure the kids were, but
most of all, he made that manatee.
I'm telling you, there were some slappers in that playlist.
Oh yeah,
I think so.
Well, so
especially when we were incorporating, I don't know, can you say politicians' names on this show?
I think so. I mean, it's
what was the? There's going to be so much peace.
The most peace you've ever seen in your life.
So much peace.
You're going to be sick. We're going to have so much peace.
That was Peace, Love, and Joy was the song. Yeah. And there's a break in it where
so much peace,
and then there's silence, and James filled the air.
Peace like you've never seen before.
You're going to be so sick of peace.
I have the greatest peace. It's the most peaceful. The peaceful's the peace.